Well, as the Prime Minister often says, the worst of times brings out the best of the Australian people, unless you are Peter Dutton and Holly Hughes. Because today, Peter Dutton has sent out Senator Holly Hughes from New South Wales to attack the Prime Minister and to belittle the people of North Queensland. I'm a really proud Far North Queenslander, and we have copped a lot of weather over the last few weeks. I've been on the phone to people over the last couple of days who've evacuated from their homes. We have seen inundation of hundreds of residents. And sadly, we have seen 2 people lose their lives. This is a serious weather event, and it requires a full-scale response from the Queensland and Australian government. And that's exactly what our government is delivering. The Prime Minister is exactly where he should be today, talking to the people of North Queensland and working out how he can best assist along with the Queensland government. That is exactly what we are focused on today, and the people of North Queensland are hearing that directly from us. But unfortunately, Peter Dutton and Holly Hughes were focused today on attacking the Prime Minister and making light of the floods in North Queensland. It's completely unacceptable, disgusting, abhorrent, and Peter Dutton should be sent out now to apologise for these remarks. We are tough people in North Queensland, and we are very resilient, and we will bounce back from these floods. But Queenslanders know how important it is to have the support of your government and the support of your Prime Minister. And so I want to thank the Prime Minister for being in Townsville today and listening to people in North Queensland. And I thank my colleagues from Queensland for supporting me today and supporting the people of North Queensland. That's exactly what we will continue to do, and it's what Senator Hughes and Peter Dutton should apologise for today. Thank you.
Is that you or us?
Sasha.
We're just checking which bells.
Just check the lights.
We're all paired.
That's red.
It's red? Great. Okay, thanks. Well, thanks very much, Nita. I was in the chamber today when New South Wales Liberal Senator Holly Hughes made her disgraceful remarks attacking the Prime Minister for being on the ground in the flood zone right now in Townsville, assisting the community and determining what further support is required from the federal government. As a Queenslander and as a former Emergency Management Minister, I know what these kind of communities are going through right now, and what they need more than anything is to know that they have their federal government working closely with the state government to provide the support that is needed. So for Senator Hughes to describe what is going on there as trivial and to use the words convenient timing about the Prime Minister's visit there today, to say that the floods will still be there tomorrow, shows you the triviality with which Peter Dutton's opposition is treating these floods in North Queensland right now. I can tell you it's not trivial and it's not convenient for North Queenslanders to have to evacuate their homes right now. It's not convenient for North Queenslanders to have supply chains interrupted, and it's certainly not convenient for them to have their homes damaged in the way that is going on right now. And that's why the Prime Minister is exactly where he needs to be today in North Queensland to deliver the support that is necessary. We've been working incredibly hard as a federal government, led by the Prime Minister and Jenny McAllister, the Emergency Management Minister, to mobilise support for North Queenslanders. We've been working incredibly cooperatively with the Queensland Government, despite the fact they're from the other side of politics. And you know what? It'd be really nice to have the federal opposition decide to support federal government efforts rather than taking cheap shots and labelling the Prime Minister's attendance in Townsville as convenient timing. Peter Dutton needs to come out and apologise for the remarks of his New South Wales Liberal Senator, and he should pledge his full support as the opposition leader for the flood recovery effort that both state and federal governments are taking on. I'll hand over now to Graham Perrott, who of course as the member for Moreton knows a fair bit about floods in his community as well.
Thanks, Murray. My community was hammered in 2009 and again in 22. I've seen Prime Minister Rudd, Prime Minister Gillard, Prime Minister Morrison come to Queensland for floods. No one has ever questioned why a Prime Minister would go to a part of Australia that's been affected by floods. I wasn't in the Senate, thank goodness, but I would hope that the New South Wales Senator criticising Queenslanders at this time would stand up, have the courage to stand up and apologise for what she said. Only a grub would try and make political points out of a situation like this. Holly Hughes needs to stand up and apologise as quickly as possible, and if she won't, Peter Dutton needs to make sure that he apologises on her behalf. He should know better as a Queenslander.
Thanks, Rod. Any questions? I think it's essential that the Prime Minister is there right now. We've seen the floods peak, and now is the time when North Queenslanders are thinking about what they need in terms of recovery. I've already seen the Prime Minister speaking to the public in North Queensland today and talking about the meetings that he's held on the ground with Queensland Premier David Crisafulli to mobilise further support. And that led to further declarations of support from the federal government today. So that demonstrates that the Prime Minister being on the ground, able to get those decisions made quickly, is actually what's helping North Queenslanders recover. So I think that's exactly where he needs to be right now.
On another topic, Mr. Donald Trump has signed an executive order banning transgender athletes from women and girls sport. As a senior minister in this government, do you think that should happen?
Look, we've got no plans to do that kind of thing in Australia. Traditionally, decisions about sports and who plays in those sports are left to sporting bodies to decide. So we have no plans to copy that kind of thing here.
Senator, I understand that Senator Hughes also made some comments in regards to Sam Kerr before, at the same time as she made the remarks about the floods. Apologies for not entirely being across it, but do you have
Yeah, I was in the chamber, as I say, during Senator Hughes' speech, and she had a crack at Sam Kerr in her speech. It was quite an amazing speech, the round of people that she rounded on. I think all Australians admire Sam Kerr as probably the greatest, certainly the greatest footballer, women footballer we've ever produced, and arguably the greatest footballer Australia has ever produced, male or female. So I think all Australians have admiration for Sam Kerr. Obviously, she's gone through a difficult incident in the UK, but to be taking cheap shots at people like Sam Kerr to make a political statement, I think just shows you the lengths that Peter Dutton and his team will go to.
mandatory minimum sentencing is against the Labor Party platform? Why have you decided to back it and support this?
Yeah, so that debate is literally occurring in the Senate right now. We have outlined previously our concerns about mandatory minimums, but what we recognise is that there is a very serious problem in the country at the moment around anti-Semitism, and we think it's in the community's interest to act as quickly as possible to pass this legislation with the broadest coalition possible within the Australian Parliament. What we are doing is insisting and inserting a review of these measures after 2 years, so that will give the Parliament the opportunity to see how they're playing out in practice.
What does that say about the Labor Party platform, though? Is it worth the paper it's written on?
Yeah, of course our platform is our guiding document on all issues, but equally as a government we need to take quick action and firm action when we face something like the anti-Semitism scourge that we're facing right now. And as I say, having that review in place does provide a safeguard to ensure that the mandatory minimums are working the way they're intended.
Every time now that there's a crisis like this, can we expect Labor to compromise on its core values?
No, I mean, we're very serious about tackling this anti-Semitism scourge. And as I say, we want to get this legislation passed as quickly as possible so it can actually take action and deal with the people who are committing the kind of disgusting acts that we're seeing around the country.
Richard Marles is off to Washington. Will he be raising the President's comments in the last day or so about taking over Gaza with officials in the White House?
Look, I'm not privy to exactly the issues that Richard Marles will be raising with his counterpart. I think it's a really positive thing that at such an early stage we've got the Australian Defence Minister and of course Deputy Prime Minister meeting with his defence counterpart in the US. Our alliance with the US is strong and long lasting and we want to keep it that way. Okay, thanks everyone.